Hi. Okay, I've done this video before. I want to talk to you as what I like to call Eminem's ghostwriter. And I say that like this. He doesn't pay anybody for any help that he gets on his music. And he gets a lot of help. I don't know where else it comes from, but when it comes from me, I've never been paid. For example, I've talked about this in my other Eminem video. One of my notebooks that I wrote a whole album for myself, basically. I had parts for other people in it, but I was writing the whole thing by myself for myself. And I had Eminem had heard me creating, basically. And I'm not actually insane. I do say that I'm schizophrenic. That's the diagnosis, but I don't hear a lot of voices, at least not lately. And what happens to me basically is that I write so prolifically that I can't actually get anything else done. I can't actually go in the studio to do anything because by the time I'm done with one thing, I'm doing another thing. It's not actually a problem for me. But basically, writing becomes like a hobby instead of a business because you can't actually do anything with it. But at the time, I was around 22 years old in 2002, and I was writing every day after work or before work. I was writing and writing and writing, and somehow he heard me and he wanted to connect with me. So he came. I guess he must have been like in San Francisco or something, and I don't know why he would be there, but that's what he said. So he came to see me where I was at. I was not living here in Sacramento, but I was over in the Bay Area. And so I met with him, and it was a stupid meeting. I don't know why I agreed to do it. He wanted me to go by myself. Come alone, he said. And I should have immediately called somebody to come with me, but I didn't. I should have. I was like, yeah, alone, whatever. I got my notebook. I'll just see what I could do with this because I wasn't really like a musician. I was mainly just a writer. And I thought if anything, he wants to buy my lyrics. He could do that and I could just get paid as a songwriter. That's what I thought. But I can actually rap. I don't have the same abilities that I used to have when I was younger. There's a lot of stuff in my head that prevents me from using certain skills and stuff like that. I still try, but it's not as good as it used to be. But the writing is there. I can write all day long, and that's a different thing. So as far as rap goes, I could write a rap, but actually freestyling, whatever, it's not the best. I have to admit that to myself at some point. But anyways, so Eminem's got that basically. He asked me to bring my notebook. I went to take a shower. When I came out of the shower, my uncle was walking away with a notebook in his hand, and I looked in my bedroom, and my notebook was gone. And I was like, what the hell? What are you doing? What are you doing? I ran to him with my towel around me after a shower, and I was like, where are you going? Hello? Excuse me, are you coming back? And I couldn't go any further. I mean, I was half naked. And my grandma I was living at my grandma's house, and she was like freaking out. What are you doing? You don't have any clothes on. And he got in his truck and he left. And I've asked him and his daughter, my cousin, I've asked them about this before. And she's like, no, you have to talk to my dad. And then she started talking to me about hypnosis. It's just hypnosis is what she said. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I wasn't even asking you about mind control. I was talking about my notebook, my music. And so I realized what they were trying to do. And I thought for sure somebody had stolen my notebook. If it wasn't him, it was somebody, and they were cashing in on it. Because there's no way Eminem could have walked into my grandma's house and taken my notebook. That didn't happen. But somebody walked out of that house with my music, and I never saw it again. But I did go to that meeting, and I told him I don't have the notebook, and he asked me, can you remember it? And I go, yeah, I'm not sure that I can remember all of that. I mean, that's not what I said. I said, yeah, sure, of course I can remember that. But at the time, my mind was being bothered by something else. I was writing another song as I was speaking to him. So that's my insanity. Like, I could be talking to you and something will be happening in my head. Usually it's music, creation of a song, or creation of something else that I'm writing, a project that I'm working on. But it's so vivid, it's like right there, like it's another person talking to me in my ear or something. And it can be really distracting. So that happened when he came to see me, and I immediately got the idea, I lost that album. There's actually nothing I can do for you. I didn't think for a second he was going to take me into the studio and just see whatever I was capable of. At the time, I could have done anything. I mean, I was young. And I didn't think about it. That's the real truth. But I said, you know what? I can't get in that car with you, but because I asked him to scoot over, and he didn't want to do the polite thing and scoot over for the girl he's asking to get in his car, where she's by herself and she's offering you the opportunity to make a lot of money. and I mean, I was trying to make a lot of money too, but he's basically saying, you're going to make me a lot of money, get in my car. I was like, well, if you want me to get in your car, scoot over. So we both had a little bit of an attitude. He's kind of a little bit of an asshole in that way. And I should have expected it, but I didn't really know that much about Eminem. I'm not a big Eminem fan. I know all of his music, but I still don't call myself a fan because I don't buy all his albums. I don't have posters of them or anything like that. I just happen to listen to his stuff just to make sure that none of it is mine. Half the time it is. But I just, want to keep score on what belongs to me. That's why I listen to him, but I'm not actually a fan of his. I think I've written better music, and it's gone to better people, but I don't actually at this point have anything. I don't want to be mad anymore. I'm tired of being mad about it. I would love to sue. I would love to sue Eminem and Lady Gaga and Drake and Nicki Minaj. I would love to sue all of them for doing my music, but they steal it from me. Like, I have no proof anymore, so I can't actually do anything about it. All I can do is hope that there's a witness that will stand by my side. And how do I find that person? And that's why I'm making these videos, is to see if it gets enough views so somebody will watch it and be like, okay, I'm just going to admit that I saw that notebook or I saw those papers and I know it doesn't belong to him. And I signed most of my notebooks. I signed them, at the end of the song, there's a little XML or my initials or my signature or something. I remember doing that on all of my songs because I wanted to have them copywritten. But there were so many, and I had like a minimum wage job. There was no way I was going to be able to afford to do that. And they really take advantage of people, that don't have the capability of going into the studio or just don't have the wherewithal to get there. And so that's what happened to me. So the thing about Lady Gaga is that she was non-existent. She was probably a 12, 14-year-old child when I wrote those songs. That whole first album, I wrote it when I was like 18. I went to Tennessee, to Nashville, and I was writing music. We were just on a trip there, and I wanted to go in the studio the next day if I had the time, but the next day was the day to leave. So I knew we weren't going to get there, but I was just trying to hold on to this notebook. When I came out of the shower, it's always when I come out of the shower, okay? It's like your most vulnerable moment when you're naked. They want to steal from you. It happened to me inside of my house. When I took a shower, I was holding on to my little Russian root, my little, what do you call it? My little Rihanna song. It was on a post-it. I wrote that song on a post-it. And I tried to keep it under my pillow, and I took a shower, and I came out of the shower. Some man was in my house stealing it out of my bedroom. And there was a van, a white van, waiting outside. For the longest time, I knew why they were there. But it's just so silly. It's like, it's just one piece of paper. Why don't you just pay me? I mean, you can find my house, but you can't find my phone number or knock on the door and make me an offer. I mean, I didn't understand why this conspiracy shit was happening. I mean, really, please have a good explanation for this, people, because that is life. Unbelievable. It's so unbelievable sometimes. I'm not sure I believe it when it comes out of my mouth either. But it's true and it's fact. That is what happened to me. Okay, in Tennessee, some guy and this little girl. I don't think that little girl at the time was Stephanie, what's her fucking face? Lady Gaga. And by the way, I named it Lady Gaga. It was actually to make fun of my cousin because she was such a whiner. And I was thinking, what do I call myself when I sing these songs? Like, what's my character for this? Because I made all the outfits. I drew the outfits, the telephone hat, all that stupid stuff I didn't think anybody else would do. I thought they would look at it and go, that's crazy. We're not going to do that. But she did them all anyways. The shoes, the outfits, the hairstyles. It was all me. And I named her Lady Gaga because my cousin was such a little whiner, and she wasn't a woman. She was younger than me, so I was just 18. And I was like, you're not really a woman, but you're not like a little girl either, so I would call you like a lady. And then I came up with the name Lady Gaga because you want to act like a little baby. That's where that name came from. That's what that means. If you hear any other story about how Lady Gaga came about, don't believe it, because that's the actual truth. About 20 years ago, I was sitting in my hotel room making up this thing. And at the end of that notebook is what I wanted to happen. I wanted to marry Michael Jackson and live on Mars after he pretended to fake his death so that we could go live on Mars together, because I thought in 20 years we would be living there. And it wasn't even a joke. I was so serious. I was like, I'm going to marry Michael Jackson, and my name is going to be Lady Gaga, and I'm going to be famous, and all I'll need is this one album to prove that he should be with me forever. That was my ode and my tribute to pop music. And I was not prepared to do it at the time. When it was stolen, I said, this music shouldn't be done for another 10 years. They're not ready for it. The 80s was just like 10 years ago. When it becomes old school is when it comes back. So I told them, if you're going to do this music, it shouldn't be for another 10 years. And this little girl was like, well, by that time I'll be ready. And I said, are you going to go to school? And she said, yeah, she wanted to go to college. I said, well, don't do it after you go to college. Because I knew they were stealing from me. This guy had his hand in his pocket like he had a gun. And I had to be real smart. I was like, either I give it to you or I get in a fight with a 300-pound man. And I'm not sure that I'll live through that. And I couldn't, I went to call the police. I put my hand on the phone. He practically broke the lamp to get my hand out of the way. I mean, it was scary. It was a scary situation. I really was threatened for my life. And I don't know who that guy was, but he was like a big bald guy with this little girl. She had a face paint, like a star on her face, trying to prove that she's the thing. And I'm like, it's not you, but I guess you're going to steal it from me, but this is how it has to be done, and you have to do it exactly like it's in the book, okay? I had the music. I know she plays the piano, but I wrote the music in my head. And I had my own system for writing music. I don't know. I do know a little bit about writing music. Excuse me, my nose is running. I do know a little bit about writing music, but I had my own system for it. I drew lines and circles for the sounds and placed them in certain areas on, lined paper between the lines so that I knew how to read it. But anybody who plays the piano, reads music, it wouldn't be too hard to follow. So I already wrote even the tunes to the songs. It was not hard to figure out. The whole thing was there, the outfits, the name, everything. I mean, the only thing I did not come up with was the choreography for the videos, but that whole thing was mine. And like I said, it was like a tribute to Michael Jackson and Prince, my idols. And so that's how she did it. And they went to Cherry Tree Records. I guess that's Sting's little recording studio. But I bought that album just to see if they really did the whole thing. And they did the whole thing. The whole thing was on there, and I remembered every last word and every note and every outfit. I remembered all of it because it was my dream for a long time. And I didn't know quite how to sue without any real proof. I tried to ask my mom if she remembered me writing. And she said, yeah, you would do something, but she would fall asleep in the bed because she was there working in Tennessee. She would fall asleep in the bed, and I would just be writing on my bed at night. And I thought maybe she would have heard some of the stuff that I was doing. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Mija. I'm sorry. I can't help you. And she said, if you want to sue, but I can't do anything for you. And I was like, well, I don't have any witnesses now. So now, I mean, who do I expect to come to my rescue? The people that recorded the song? They're supposed to come out and say, like, yeah, it wasn't hers. It came to us in a notebook that we paid somebody else for. We don't know where it came from, but how are we supposed to know it was stolen? I mean, yeah. So later it was an extra in a movie, and I felt like certain superstars knew who I was. A couple of superstars, like musical stars, were in that movie, and I asked for my notebook. I asked the director of that movie to help me find my notebooks, and 200 pages were sent to me in the mail, and my actual work, the notebooks that they copied of mine, they came to me in Xerox copy, okay, black and white copy papers. But the copies of mine went to my sister's house. And I don't know why I gave them my sister's address, but I was like, I didn't live in a very safe area, and I thought if anything came to me, it would be stolen before I could answer the door. I couldn't be sure that I would be there on the day that they sent it, and so I picked the safe addresses, and it was sent to my sister's house. And my sister called me and said, do you know anything about this notebook? And I started going really crazy. I mean, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know what to do. I mean, all these things are being sent to me, and they're Xerox copied. If I use them, I will be sued heavily for everything that I try to do, because none of it would be mine. And I was like, I don't know what they're trying to say or what they're trying to do. I mean, what does this mean? I was really scared. Anybody else would have just done the music and tried to make money off of it, but I got really scared because that's how my mind works. I mean, I've been stolen from, and I wouldn't want to do it to anybody else. But I didn't realize that's how the business works. Everybody steals. The music goes around. It's never yours. The people that call themselves songwriters are not actually capable of that many hits. It doesn't work like that. They get them from somewhere else. And I didn't know all of that yet. I just knew that I was writing for myself and I wanted to do them for myself. And so the whole thing scared me. And I told my sister, I don't know what you're talking about. But like a week later, I called her back. I felt better about the thing. I called her back and I said, you know those notebooks? I'm going to come and pick them up. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. And she totally denied that that phone call happened. And she totally denied that she got anything in the mail. And she tried to tell me that I was going insane. And she tried to tell me that there was something wrong with me, that I should go see somebody. So I realized that she wanted to sell my music or she threw it away. Either way, I don't speak to these people anymore. They're not in my life anymore because they're part of the whole thing to me. And they act like it's not real. And they treat me like I'm insane. They treat me like, I mean, it's real that my family got involved in a conspiracy and that's how they treat you. And I don't want to be around it. They try to tell me that that I shouldn't have babies. No, you can't. What are you talking about, Suji? Go see a doctor. Like, I was insane to think about having children. And I was like, I have more experience than my sister who had just had a baby. After her child was 6 years old, I still had more experience under my belt with nannying and child care service. I have a certificate in child care service, and they tried to tell me that I was insane, that I don't deserve to have kids, and that there was something wrong with me. Nobody's gonna have a baby with you. I mean, I couldn't be a part, like, I disowned my family after that. I was like, no, I can't have you in my life. My mom is abusive enough. My mom has a way with words, but she's easier to deal with than they were. So I just deal with people the best that I can. And right now I'm looking at lawyers, like, asking if there's really anything I could do about it at all, or if I should just move on from it and try and copyright everything that I have. Although that's very expensive because I have a lot of work. They haven't been stealing from me for like a year because I've been on YouTube talking about this. And ever since I started my YouTube, they stopped stealing from me. It's really a fact. They said, start doing something for yourself and we'll stop doing it. So I started YouTube. And pretty much I have too many songs. I don't put my stuff on YouTube. I just do silly little videos, but I have like hundreds of songs in my computer and in my notebooks that I just can't do anything with. There's so many. I can't possibly decide which one to start with. I don't know where to start, basically. So, I mean, I have a really good voice, I think, and it's hard to choose a song to really record in the studio because I don't play any instruments. I have limited amount of experience on the guitar and the piano. I mean, it's like I don't really play instruments at all. So the music part would be hard even if I hear it in my head, and I get very intimidated by it. But I just am a lyricist, basically. My friend tried to make me a poet, and although I like my poetry, I prefer writing music, and other types of writing are more interesting to me. But anyway, that's my story all over again in 25 minutes of video. And I'm sorry, but I wanted to make a second video talking about this and calling myself Eminem's ghostwriter because he stole that album from me and he continued to be in my mind for almost 10 years. trying to take all of my raps and I don't write them for him anymore. I'm like, I would love to do this with you if you pay me. I actually don't have anything against you anymore. I understand that's the way the business works, and you're all surrounding it so that as a group, so that nobody can bring you down. That's what the icons do. When they start stealing from you, they try to make you believe that it's theirs. And they will push you so far away from music that it seems like you're actually not good at it anymore. And then they cry on television about how they would never do such a thing. It's so contradictory and hypocritical, the way that they are, the things that they do to become successful, and then how they turn around and try to be positive influences on camera is like, nobody recognizes it but the people that they do this to. And so I just want to tell you the truth about the whole thing and hope that you believe me. But that's my story. So thank you for watching. I hope you sat through the whole thing. I'm sorry my makeup's coming off. I just put it on, but bye.